Imagine a man who starred in some of the biggest films in Hollywood history, movies that have grossed billions, characters that have become cultural icons. Yet, he's just as likely to be spotted eating a sandwich alone, on a park bench, or riding the subway with everyday folks. That's Keanu Reeves, a name synonymous with humility, resilience, and an almost otherworldly kindness. He's the guy who turned down millions to stay true to himself, who gives away fortunes to strangers and crew members alike, and who somehow remains Hollywood's most grounded star, despite a life shadowed by more tragedy than most could bear. This is the story of Keanu Reeves, his rise to fame, his unshakable down-to-earth nature, and the heart-wrenching personal losses that have defined him. Buckle up, because this journey is as inspiring as it is heartbreaking. A childhood of chaos and curiosity. Keanu Charles Reeves was born on September 2nd, 1964, in Beirut, Lebanon, a place far from the glitz of Hollywood. His mother, Patricia Taylor, was an English costume designer with a flair for creativity, while his father, Samuel Nolan Reeves Jr., was a geologist of Chinese-Hawaiian descent with a restless spirit. The name Keanu means cool breeze over the mountains in Hawaiian, a poetic hint at the calm presence he'd one day embody. But his early years were anything but calm. When Keanu was just 3, his father walked out, leaving Patricia to raise him, and his younger sister, Kim, alone. Samuel's departure wasn't a clean break. He drifted in and out of Keanu's life, leaving a trail of pain and unanswered questions. The last time Keanu saw him was at 13, before Samuel vanished for good. Patricia moved the family around, Australia, New York, and finally Toronto, Canada, chasing stability. Along the way, she remarried multiple times, introducing Keanu to a revolving door of stepfathers. It was a nomadic, fractured childhood, one where nannies often filled the gaps left by an overworked single mom. Keanu and Kim leaned on each other, forging a bond that would later become a lifeline. School was another battleground. Diagnosed with dyslexia, Keanu struggled to keep up, bouncing between 4 high schools in 5 years. Reading was a chore, words a jumble, but he found solace elsewhere, on the ice as a talented hockey goalie, dreaming of going pro. At 17, a serious injury shattered his hockey dreams, forcing him to pivot. Acting, something he'd dabbled in through school plays, became his new path. He dropped out of high school, packed a bag, and headed to Los Angeles with little more than a motorcycle and a hunger to make something of himself. That raw determination and a refusal to let setbacks define him set the stage for everything that followed. Breaking into Hollywood, the reluctant star. Keanu's Hollywood journey began modestly. His first gig was a small role in the 1984 Canadian TV series Hangin' In, followed by a bit part in the 1986 hockey flick Youngblood. But it was 1989's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure that launched him into the spotlight. Playing Ted Theodore Logan, a lovable, airheaded time traveler, Keanu won over audiences with his laid-back charm. The film's goofy brilliance made him a star, but he wasn't content to coast on comedy. He took a risk with 1991's My Own Private Idaho, a gritty drama about street hustlers, co-starring his friend River Phoenix. It was a bold move that showed he could handle depth, not just dude bro antics. Then came 1994's Speed, where he played Jack Traven, a cop racing against a bomb-rigged bus. The movie was a blockbuster, cementing Keanu as an action hero. But it was 1999's The Matrix that turned him into a legend. As Neo, the reluctant savior of a simulated world, Keanu blended vulnerability with quiet strength, a role that seemed tailor-made for him. The film redefined sci-fi and raked in millions, but Keanu didn't bask in the glory. He famously gave away chunks of his earnings, reportedly up to $75 million from the sequels, to the special effects and costume teams, saying they were the real backbone of the movie. That's Keanu in a nutshell, a guy who'd rather share the spotlight than hog it. Even as his star rose, he stayed grounded, Paparazzi caught him riding the subway, chatting with strangers, or grabbing coffee in worn-out jeans and scuffed boots. In 2010, a photo of him sitting alone on a New York bench, eating a sandwich and looking pensive, went viral as "Sad Keanu." Fans turned it into a meme, but Keanu just shrugged it off with a laugh. "I'm not sad," he'd later say. "I was just hungry." That humility, refusing to play the untouchable celebrity, won him a legion of fans who'd come to adore him, not just for his roles, but for who he was off-screen. The first blow, losing River Phoenix. Behind the rising fame, tragedy was already lurking. In the early 90s, Keanu forged a deep friendship with River Phoenix, the charismatic young actor he met while filming I Love You to Death, and later, My Own Private Idaho. River, with his soulful eyes and free-spirited energy, was like a brother to Keanu. They'd jam on guitars, talk about life, and dream of future projects. River once called Keanu "my older brother, but shorter," a playful jab that captured their bond. But on October 31st, 1993, that bond was shattered. River collapsed outside the Viper Room, a Hollywood nightclub, after overdosing on a lethal mix of cocaine and morphine. He was just 23. Keanu, then 29 and filming Speed, was devastated. He'd lost one of his closest confidants, a kindred spirit who understood the chaos of fame. River was so down-to-earth, spiritual, a unique artist, Keanu later reflected. "Yeah, I miss him." The loss hit hard, a stark reminder of life's fragility, but Keanu buried his grief and kept working, pouring himself into roles like a man outrunning his shadows. A family tested, Kim's battle with leukemia. Around the same time, another storm brewed closer to home. In 1991, Keanu's sister Kim, his rock through their turbulent childhood, was diagnosed with leukemia at 25. The news was a gut punch. Kim had always been the quieter sibling, the one who'd weathered their uprooted youth with grace, and now she faced a decade-long fight for her life. Keanu didn't hesitate. He became her caregiver, her protector, delaying the Matrix sequels to be by her side. He was there all the time, a friend later told People, sitting at her bedside, holding her hand. For 10 years, Keanu juggled his career with Kim's care, funding treatments, and quietly donating to cancer research. Rumors swirl he gave millions, though he's never confirmed the exact amount. He even set up a private foundation to help children's hospitals, keeping it anonymous because, in his words, "I don't like to attach my name to it." Kim pulled through, entering remission by 1999, but the ordeal left its mark. Keanu emerged more introspective, more aware of how quickly life could slip away. The darkest chapter, Jennifer and Ava. Just as Kim's recovery offered a glimmer of hope, Keanu's world crumbled again, this time with a loss so profound it would haunt him for decades. In 1998, at a party for his alt-rock band Dogstar, Keanu met Jennifer Syme, a bright-eyed actress and assistant to director David Lynch. They clicked instantly, a rare spark for a man who'd kept his heart guarded. Jennifer was funny, warm, and fiercely independent, and Keanu fell hard. For once, he let himself dream of a future beyond the screen, a family, a home. By 1999, that dream seemed within reach. Jennifer was pregnant with their daughter, whom they named Ava Archer Syme Reeves. Keanu was over the moon, sketching out a life as a dad. But on Christmas Eve, 8 months into the pregnancy, disaster struck. Jennifer noticed the baby hadn't moved for days. They rushed to the hospital, where an ultrasound confirmed their worst fear. Ava was stillborn. The couple was shattered, holding each other, as they mourned a child they'd never know. Keanu had his heart set on being a dad, a friend told Globe. They cried together through it all. The grief was unbearable. Within weeks, Keanu and Jennifer's relationship buckled under the weight, and they parted ways. But they stayed close, tethered by their shared loss. Then, on April 1st, 2001, tragedy struck again. Jennifer, still reeling from Ava's death and battling depression, attended a party at Marilyn Manson's house. After a friend drove her home, she made a fateful choice to drive back, intoxicated. Her Jeep crashed into parked cars, flipping and ejecting her. She died instantly at 28. Keanu, one of her pallbearers, buried her next to Ava, a double wound that cut deeper than words could express. Grief changes shape, but it never ends, Keanu told Parade in 2006. People think you can deal with it and say, "It's gone, I'm better." They're wrong. When the people you love are gone, you're alone. The losses left him adrift, living out of suitcases in hotels, a nomad in his own life. Yet even in his darkest moments, he didn't turn bitter. He kept giving, money to crew members, time to fans, kindness to strangers, because, as he'd later say, life is precious. It's worthwhile. Rising from the ashes, John Wick and beyond. Keanu's career took a dip in the mid-2000s with flops like The Watcher and a reluctance to chase every big paycheck. He famously turned down Speed 2. But in 2014, he roared back with John Wick, playing a retired hitman driven by loss, a role that mirrored his own pain. "I love his grief," Keanu told The Guardian. "It's about the love of the person you're grieving for, and that fire is warm." The film's success spawned a franchise, proving Keanu's staying power. He threw himself into the stunts, training relentlessly, channeling his resilience into every punch. Off-screen, his generosity became legend. Stories piled up, giving a hotel worker $100 for rent, sending thank you notes to chefs, donating millions to leukemia research in Kim's honor. In 2019, he stepped onto the red carpet with Alexandra Grant, an artist he'd collaborated with, on books like Ode to Happiness. It was his first public relationship in years, and fans rejoiced to see him happy. He's ready to put roots down, his Devil's Advocate co-star, Charlize Theron, noted. At 60, Keanu remains a force, acting, riding motorcycles, even co-writing a novel, The Book of Elsewhere, in 2024. Still humble, still kind. The man beneath the myth. Keanu Reeves isn't a saint or a superhero, though fans might argue otherwise. He's a man who's faced abandonment, loss, and heartbreak. His father, River, Kim's illness, Jennifer, Ava, and kept going. He's lived in hotels, given away fortunes, and stayed grounded when fame could have consumed him. "It's easy to stay grounded," he once said. "The ground is very close, and we walk on it every day." As of now, Keanu's legacy is twofold: a cinematic icon who redefined genres and a human being who reminds us that kindness can endure even the darkest storms. His life is a testament to resilience, not loud or flashy, but quiet, steady, and profoundly real. So next time you see him on screen or hear about him buying breakfast for a film crew, remember the road he's walked. Keanu Reeves isn't just Hollywood's nicest guy. He's proof that even in tragedy, there's room for grace.